is installed in over 120 plus countries with almost 15 million users, and the number of employees in SAP is actually right now it's more than around 70,000. So this is how SAP has evolved over a period of time. Now we will see what is R/3 architecture. Okay, this represents the three-tier client-server architecture. What happens here is the client, this is the end user. The end user will log in and to the request, and it will be processed from the application server, again which will fetch the data from the database server. Before the invention of three-tier structure, we used to have a two-tier structure whereby these application servers were not there in that particular architecture. So the load on the database server was very high and the system's performance was getting affected. Okay, the time taken to retrieve the data was more, but because of the introduction of this application server layer, the load on the database server has lessened, and so the system performance and efficiency has increased a lot. Okay, so that was about the technical part of SAP and how SAP has really increased and why it has increased in the decades of 1990. Okay, so based upon the conceptual areas, SAP can be divided into three. They are the application area, basis area, and the development area. Okay, let us start with the development area. Development area is nothing but the programming language. Okay, here the consultants will actually develop the program required as per the client requirements. What an ERP package does is it creates 90% of what is required for each and every customer in the package itself. Okay, only around historically the experiences tells that only 10% of the software is required to be programmed as per the client requirements. Okay, so that will be done by the programmers. The programming language in SAP is called as ABAP. It stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. Okay, so the programmers will do the programming as per the client requirements. And then we have the basis area. This is the networking area of the SAP system. This will be taken by the basis people. They will give the authorization for the authorizations or user IDs and accesses to various user IDs, etc. So it's basically is the networking aspect of SAP. And then we have the application area. Okay, application area is something like the consultants need to have the domain expertise in each application area of the whole organization. That means, for example, a FICO consultant will have an expert knowledge on the FI and CO processes. Okay, similarly, an SD guy or an SD consultant will have a expertise over the sales and distribution processes. Okay, so he is an expert in that particular domain. Okay, so the domain consultants are expected to have a very good knowledge about the processes involved. Okay, they are the expert consultants who should add value to the business processes. Okay, and based upon the inputs received from the client, they will have to configure the system accordingly. So the main job of the domain experts would be to study the business processes of the customer. For example, if we are going and implementing SAP in a company, the functional consultant will first come face to face with the client, and then he will study the processes which are being implemented in the organization already, and then he will try to map that into the SAP system. Okay, whether that processes can be included or whether that processes can be supported by SAP. Okay, if they are not supported by SAP, then he has to touch base with these developers to see whether any customized programs can be created to accommodate those special business processes. Okay, so the role of a functional consultant is very important. He is the key person. He is the person who comes. You can say he is the face of the company which is implementing SAP. Okay, the programmers and the networking guys will never come in picture, or they will never come face to face with the client. Okay, the functional consultants are expected to interact with the client, know the client requirements, and then configure the system accordingly. So that is the reason why functional consultants are paid more than the technical team, that is both the development and the basis area.